Has anyone seen Lee Gunner? Stinker and Hooked, Siesta and Hooked, Trust the Process and Hooked, Rat Army and Hooked. No one's heard from him. I put the show back half hour. Still nothing from him. I don't know if he's having siesta. I don't know if he hasn't even woke up from last night. Has anyone seen Lee Gunner? If you have, let me know. And let me know so I can let him know to jump on. I have texted him. I've told him I'm going live. Hopefully he'll be with us. Hopefully he'll jump on. If not, it's just me, people. Big up to everyone that's here. Big up to everyone that was locked in last night. Unbelievable amount of you. Almost 2,000 of you that were live watching last night as myself, Hooks, Christian, Lee Gunner, Kenny Ken, DJB and Northside were talking all things Arsenal. If you haven't watched it yet, go check it out. So, yeah, let's get the likes up, people. Got 150 of you locked in already. And we haven't even started. Look, apologies. I know most of you have come for Lee as well, but unfortunately, I can't get hold of him. I don't know what's going on. He said last night, I'll be there. He said last night, I'll definitely be with you. And I don't know where he is. He'll probably ring me in about 20 minutes and go, oh, sorry, mate, I'm stuck in traffic. Or, oh, I'm sorry, buddy, I've just woke up. That's what he normally does. So, yeah. As Jason Cundy would say, has anyone seen Lee Gunner? But it's just me, people. We're here to talk Arsenal. There's a lot we want to talk about. And if I'm honest with you, there's a lot that I wanted to discuss on my own with you guys because it's always good to get different opinions on it. And it's good to talk about it on panel debates and shows or one-on-ones with other people. But I kind of miss the 12th-man community and me discussing this. So that's what we're going to get for the majority and probably most of this show, unless Lee does decide to jump on. So, yeah, hopefully he will. If not, it's just me and it's calm. I'm good with that. So let's talk. Before we do that, make sure you do me a favor and check out Football Prizes. Football Prizes have got an unbelievable opportunity for the Gooners in the house. There's great prizes on Football Prizes website. Make sure you go check them out for all football club supporters. But there are a number of fantastic opportunities, one of which, if you are a Arsenal fan, you absolutely have to get involved in. It is the mega competition. Now, when I say mega, I mean mega. There's a great opportunity here for just 39 pence a ticket to get in with a chance to win one of these. And if you do win, which many of the people have done on these shows, then please do let me know. Yeah, I've had it before where people have said, oh, yeah, I won a year ago or 6 months ago, I got this. And I'm like, right, why didn't you tell me? I would have announced it on the show. Especially if it's one of our subscribers that wins it. Look, there's a lot here. You've got the Declan Rice framed and signed jersey. You've got the Cesc Fabregas LED framed jersey that is signed. You've got the Henry and Bergkamp one, which I am so desperate to try and get my hands off of. That would be incredible. We've got the 89 shirts. We've got the Saliba, Martinelli, Havertz, Arteta, Trossard, Zinchenko. And of course, we've got some of the Invincibles here. Patrick Vieira's red current. We've got Pires and Vieira Invincible shirts. A Cesc Fabregas signed one as well. Guys, you've got to get involved. You've got to get involved. Unbelievable opportunities. There's an amazing amount of tickets that have been sold already. Everyone's getting in for this one. So please make sure you go to the link in the description and click on the Football Prizes, which is the one that we need to be seeing. So, yeah, please make sure you head over there. We absolutely have to get involved in that, people. So big up to everyone for being here. Nice and early. It's not early in the UK, but it is early if you're Lee Gunner, because this is clearly far too early for Lee to be streaming. Big up to him as always. But yeah, I don't know whereabouts he is. I'd love to know. We're going to be talking a little bit about this Saudi Arabian link to Gabriel. We're going to be talking about the realistic opportunity of that. And if there is a possibility that he would be willing to go over to Saudi at the age of just 27 instead of signing a new long-term contract at the Arsenal. There's a lot of reliable sources suggesting that they are definitely in for him. Whether he's going to accept that move is another story. There's a lot of money involved in this. So this could be potentially quite worrying. Saliba is someone we're going to mention as well because Real Madrid is round the corner and they're going to have all their eyes on him when they play that two-legged game. I think you're also going to see potential worrying signs of Saliba's future. Let's hope that he does sign a new deal. And then, of course, we're going to talk about Bukayo Saka, his return to the squad and signing of a long-term deal is, I think, probably the closest out of the three. Let's hope that Andrea Berta gets appointed soon, and that could be one of his first jobs. Get these three signed. We're going to talk about Martinelli, who, of course, is on the list of the four of them that do only have 2 years left. If any of those are not interested in signing this summer, what do we do? And then, of course, we're going to talk about Thomas Partey, Jorginho, and Trossard, who are struggling with contracts. Also, both of them, Partey and Jorginho, out of contract at the end of this season. And, of course, we've got Trossard with 1 year left. And he's only recently rejected a new deal. So it does sound like we've got a lot of contract talk to discuss. We're also going to get into the nitty-gritty of the Alexander Isak deal. Now, it looks as if this guy is going to be staying at Newcastle, but a lot of clubs are circling. Arsenal interested, Liverpool interested. Looks like clubs abroad now in Bayern Munich and Barcelona have shown an interest also. And would you take away the opportunity of an audacious bid from a club like Chelsea in the summer? I've seen a hell of a lot stranger things happen than Chelsea putting in bids for players like that. Enzo Fernandez being the case for one, and we've seen others in the past. So what's going to happen to Alexander Isak? We're also going to look as well at potentially the opportunity of our chances against Real Madrid and who you would play against Real Madrid in terms of the starting 11. There's a couple of positions really that are up for grabs and up for discussion, particularly left back. Looking at what we would do as a midfield trio and looking what we do, of course, as a front three trio with a return of Bukayo Saka, if that is to be the case. So that's where we are going to be concentrating on today. If Lee joins us, Lee joins us. If he doesn't, people, I'm really sorry. He doesn't. So I do apologize. Let's see if he's text. As he texts now, I've got a couple of messages here. No, none from Lee Gunner. My goodness. Stinker and hooked. Stinker and hooked. Okay, let's start, shall we? We need to talk about Gabriel. And the reason we need to talk about Gabriel is because Ben Jacobs is suggesting that there's some strong rumours that Al Nassr over in Saudi are very much interested. And they're interested enough to look to prepare an offer and a salary in the region of 20 million euros, around 3 times his current Arsenal package, tax-free. Gabriel solely focused on Arsenal's end of the season, but it is understood that he's open to heading to Saudi Arabia at some point in his career. So let's break that down. Saudi are interested. Al Nassr are the club. They are prepared to offer a salary in the region of 20 million euros, which is a crazy amount a week. It's something like 380 a week, something like that. Yeah, it's something along the lines of 380, 390 a week. That is ridiculous for Gabriel. Now, I think we're probably going to have to offer him around 280, 290 a week because that's what Kai Havertz is on. So he's going to want that at Arsenal. So it's a hell of a lot of money. So we know now what we have to try to do to keep him and convince him to stay here. It's 3 times what he's currently on at the moment. He is solely interested in staying at Arsenal for this season, but there is definitely no guarantee that he is not interested in this. There's definitely no guarantee that he laughs this off and says, no, thank you. I'm 27. I've still got a career here. But the last bit is fairly promising if you're an Arsenal fan because it says that he is happy, but he would be open to considering to head there to Saudi at some point in his career. Now, look, I have actually got no understanding of why anybody at the age of 27 would want to head there. I can understand people wanting to potentially head in their 30s. And if I'm honest with you, I can understand if you're in a John Durand situation at 21, 22, and then you decide at 24 to come back into Europe and play Champions League football. That makes sense to me. This just doesn't make sense. This one just doesn't make sense. Why he would want to go there now when, in his eyes, the project that he's been sold is on the brink of getting across the line, when hopefully with a couple of signings, we can go for a trophy next season. Hopefully Gabriel's mindset, whether you're in or out of Arteta and this ownership, is that they're going to stay at the Arsenal. And that's what I hope he does. Thoughts on Gabriel as a player? One of my favourites. One of my favourite players. I have to say that. He's one of my favourite players. And I'm just a huge lover of what he has achieved at Arsenal individually. When he first came, I thought he was a half-decent defender. I knew a little bit about him in France and heard that he was going to be a good centre-half and heard some good things. Then he started to have a little bit of bozo moments, didn't he? Yeah, they said he's got the bozo gene and that he's a player that makes a lot of mistakes. He started to iron them out alongside Saliba. When he was alongside Ben White, some of the others, it just weren't the same. You know, if it was Rob Holding or Ben White that was playing alongside him, I didn't think it was the same Gabriel. So what Saliba has done is he's complemented Gabriel's game, but Gabriel has actually complemented Saliba also. So a lot of people give Saliba the credit, saying that he is the reason Gabriel has calmed and ironed out those bozo moments. Well, actually, I think it would probably be a mixture of the both, because I actually think that he has complemented Saliba into being one of the best centre halves in the league. And that is a compliment to Gabriel alongside Saliba. And the partnership has been phenomenal. So we can't think about now finally getting our centre half partnership over all these years at the Emirates, when the only two that come anywhere near to being half decent were Saka and Koscielny in the Emirates era. I'll throw Thomas Vermaelen in there, but injuries killed him. Other than that, we can reel off a whole long list of Johan Giroud, Philippe Senderos, Mikael Silvestre, Schillaci, Skodran Mustafi, Socrates, David Luiz, Callum Chambers, Rob Holding, Gabriel Paulista. The list goes on, people. Yeah, the list goes on. It has been pretty horrendous, if I'm honest, when you look at how bad some of the centre halves have been. Now we finally got a partnership. I don't want to be leaving them. I don't want to be losing any of them. Now, it's no coincidence that clubs are in for them. And I think, like Newcastle fans are getting a bit rattled at the moment about the love for Isak and Bruno G. Take it as a compliment. It means you're doing something right. Nobody's in currently for the likes of Harry Maguire, are they? No one's in for the likes of Bentancur or Sarr or Bissouma. Why do you think that is? Because none of them are playing well. The clubs aren't playing well at United or Spurs. The players aren't playing well. They've got no long-term future there. That's why people are looking at Gabriel and Saliba. They're 100% looking around Saka's situation as well. And it's a compliment to how well they've been playing individually and as a team. So when you look at it right now with Gabriel, I'm honestly believing that he is one of the best centre-halves that we've got. I think he's been the best defender at Arsenal for quite some time. I think for the last couple of seasons, at the very bare minimum, he's been phenomenal. He's an absolute monster from corners. He's a colossus at the back. And he's that old school defender. I love his mentality. I love his leadership qualities. He, for me, shows more leadership qualities than Martin Odegaard. On the field, I see him barking orders. I see him getting people in line. From set pieces, he's setting everybody up. He's the guy that I look at and look towards. Yeah. I will 100% be gutted if we lost Gabriel. I'll be gutted if we lost both of them. But it's not like we lose Gabriel and it's like, do you know what? At least we've got Saliba. Nah. I'm looking at it now and I'm thinking the only scenario I don't ever take is what was a super chatted to me yesterday or the day before. Would you take Van Dijk for 3 years and 100 million for Gabriel? Yeah, I'd have Van Dijk and Saliba at the back. That ain't going to happen. Yeah, we ain't going to go in for Van Dijk and we ain't going to get 100 million. So I think he stays, but I don't know how long for. And I said this about Saliba as well. I think both defenders will be definitely interested in a couple of years' time if Arsenal is still in a similar scenario. And this is why trophies are massively important, because already people are saying, well, Bruno G and Isak might stay now. Why? One League Cup and they might stay. One League Cup and they might stay. So listen, people, it's for me really vital and pivotal that we get across the line very, very soon. And that's why I would have worries in the next couple of years if we didn't. But Ben Jacobs has gone on furthermore to talk about the situation with Gabriel. And he has gone on to say that they are planning an ambitious summer bid and they've already made an initial approach to the player. So if they've already started speaking to him, doing the whole tapping up, which has happened for years and let's be real, still happens now, then it's slightly worrying. Arsenal are unlikely to even consider offers that are under 100 million euros. The club's firm preference is for him to extend his contract. So look, the club want to keep him. They've got no intention of selling him. They certainly haven't got any intention of selling him for anything less than 100 million. And when you look at what he's on at the moment, I think it's around about 150, is it, a week? He needs to be one of our highest paid players at the club. He's one of our most important. And without his set pieces, without his defending, we'd be in a much different position. I think he is Mikel Arteta's best signing yet. I think he's made great signings. I like Rice. I like Raya. I like Timber. I like Erdegaard. I like Ben White. I like Partey. But for me, Gabriel's the best. And I'd actually put Timber as second, actually. Yeah, me and Judges were talking about it yesterday. I think Timber's been brilliant. Absolutely brilliant for Arsenal. But Gabriel, for me, has been the best and the most improved as well. So, yeah, look, someone in the chat, Luke, big up to you, saying 100 grand a week he's on at the moment. That's absolutely mad. Considering Zinchenko's on 150 and Kieran Tierney's on about 130, yeah, Mikel Merino's on about 130. This guy's on 100 grand a week. That is absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. So, look, he has to be on more. And Kenny Ken made a good point last night. Are all of these guys going to get 300 grand a week? No, they're not. They're not all going to get 300 grand a week, but they need to be the top three earners at the club. And unfortunately, Kai Havertz being on 290 and Jesus being on 265 suggests that we're going to have to put them on roughly around 250 to 300 a week, all of them. I've never known Arsenal to do that, but that's what we've got to do. This is the next level. The last time we were going for titles and keeping hold of Henry's and Vieiras, they weren't on 300k a week. We've never done this before. The only time we've ever flirted with it is when we've put one or two players on it. For example, Ozil and Sanchez, one of them had to go. Aubameyang, he eventually had to go. We've never put 3 or 4 players on 300 grand a week, and we might now have to. The wage bill is absolutely monstrous. But if you're telling me the reason we can't afford this is because our wage bill was already monstrous, that is a poor bit of planning by the board and Mikel Arteta, if they are the people who are involved, of course. So look, I don't want him going anywhere. I don't want him going anywhere. One of my favourites. I love Gabriel. And I think he's genuinely been one of our better players. I really do. I think he's been one of the best. So I don't want to be seeing him going anywhere. That's for sure. I'm a big fan of him. And I do think that if you was to actually sit him down and chat, I think he'd be happy at Arsenal. The only thought in the back of my mind, the only doubt that I would have, if any at all, last season in the first few games, he played Partey at right back and Gabriel was dropped. Now, a lot of people thought that it was tactical, but it wasn't. It was clearly because he was flirting with Saudi. So I think he's definitely had his head turned previously. Whether it's his head turned and then he gets his head turned again and finally decides, you know what, I should have gone last time, let's go now. I'm not sure if we're there yet. But I tell you what will happen. If we go next season without a trophy, I think Gabriel, Saliba and co will start to leave one by one. And we've seen it before with Fabregas and with Van Persie and with Nasri and with Clichy and with Sagna. Toure and Adebayor can be mentioned in that bracket of player as well. Alexander Hleb. And then you look towards what happened towards the latter with Robin Van Persie and Alexis Sanchez. We have seen, unfortunately, a lot of our world-class players over the last two decades leave. And I worry. And I said right at the start, when people ask me why I'm not happy with another youth project, because I know what happens. We failed with 2 already, and I understand where it ends. They leave for better clubs. Now, when I was growing up, guys, yeah, I know there's a lot of people that are younger than me in the chat, but there's certainly a lot of people that are older than me in the chat. I'm 37, right? I started supporting Arsenal in 1992 onwards, when the Premier League started. I don't remember life before the Premier League, but I certainly remember when it started, and I remember the first few years of it. I grew up winning. 93, 94, cup doubles against Sheffield Wednesday, Parma, Copenhagen, Cup Winners' Cup, yeah? Doubles under Arsene Wenger, FA Cups, Invincibles. I saw it all. And when players left Highbury, they didn't really go on to do much with their careers. Ian Wright left at an older age and he went to West Ham and Burnley and Forest and Celtic, and it weren't really great for him towards the end of his career. But then you can look at the younger players that left. Anelka, he left Arsenal. He went to Real Madrid. He went to Man City, Liverpool, Fenerbahce, Bolton, and then he got back to Chelsea and he started winning stuff again. But really, wasted a lot of his career there, right? You look at Petit and Overmars. They both said they regretted leaving Arsenal to go to Barcelona. They regretted it. Petit went back to Chelsea and was terrible. Let's be real. Even some of the players that people had forgotten about that had left, they went. Even Vieira, yeah. Now you look at the Emirates era. Fabregas left and he won stuff at Barca. Van Persie left and he won stuff at Man United. Nasri left and he won a title alongside Gael Clichy. Sagna won trophies. Unfortunately, I hate to say it, but players that left like Ashley Cole went on and won everything in the game. So players that are leaving to go and win stuff. And that's a massive, massive worry. When you look at Saliba's situation, you look at Gabriel's situation, and you look at Bukayo Saka's situation. So it's interesting now to see what happens with those. Before we go to Saka and Saliba, and of course Martinelli, we'll talk about the guys that are literally running out of contracts this season or next. Because there are a few. There are a few, right? There are a few. Over 700 in here. Apologies for those that are joining expecting to see Lee Gunner. We ain't heard from him. We don't know where he is. Stinker and hooked. Jason Cundy style, has anyone seen? Nobody's seen Lee Gunner. Won't answer his phone. I'm ringing him. I'm texting him. I'm asking where he is. Nobody knows. Big up to everyone. Make sure you hit the like button, yeah? Make sure you hit subscribe. Make sure that you are, if you would like to become a member, hit the join button. If you've got any questions, put them in the chat. Super chat them. I'll read them out, put them on screen. If you've got any questions, put a Q at the start and we'll go from there. Yeah, false advertising. I will change the thumbnail, people. I thought he was coming on and it doesn't look like he is. So apologies. Lee ain't here. It's just me. But what more do you want? Come on. Listen, well over 730. Make sure you do the thing. We've only got 174 likes. That's terrible. 174 likes and 733 people in here. That's horrendous. Come on, man. Let's hit the like button, please. We need it. We need it. Okay. Let's talk about this, shall we? Because it looks now as if Partey, Jorginho and Trossard are the three that we're talking about. And Sammy Mockwell has stated that Partey and Jorginho are both out of contract end of the season. They will leave Arsenal this summer as things stand. So it doesn't look like either Jorginho or Partey are going to be offered new deals as things stand. Now, there were suggestions that Partey was offered one and it was looking like he was potentially going to. But unfortunately, it don't look like that's going to happen now. I think there's more of a likelihood that he'll go as opposed to stay now, Thomas Partey. And I think that's a shame because even if we're bringing in Zubimendi with Rice and Marino, we still need somebody else. And I think Partey would have been good. Partey would have been really good there. For me, I keep Partey, I bring in Zubimendi, I keep Rice and Marino, and I add to that with one more proper box-to-box midfielder, like a Morgan Rogers. That's what I want to see at the Arsenal to take them to the next level. But if Partey's going, we're probably going to need two midfielders. Jorginho looks like he's done. He's going over to Flamengo, I believe, in Brazil. Doesn't look like there's anyone that's going to be too gutted by that. £12 million, been here for 3 seasons, done his job. Let's be real. He's done his job. He's done his job. He's done what a rotation player should do. And that's come in and do a job. And when Partey's out, when Rice is out, he comes in and he covers. Slows the game down. Great passing, great balance, good leadership qualities, wealth of experience. Fair play. Fair play. Like, let's just say it how it is. Fair play. He's done all right. A lot of people hate on him. I've never hated on him. I didn't want him to start every game, take us to the next level, but I think Jorginho's done a job. Partey's done more than a job. And if he wants to take a pay cut and stay here on 150 a week for another year with maybe a year extension, go for it. Go for it. That's what I would do. As for Trossard, I think he's tapped out, guys. I think he's tapped out. I don't think he's interested. I look at him playing now and I just moping around. He's not too bothered by it. He's not too interested by how things are. It looks to me as if he's just not interested in actually being that kind of... He's not interested in being that kind of starter, you can't drop me type player. I think with Trossard, since that celebration against Villa, it ain't really gone that well for him. Every time he started, it's like, nah, he's better coming on. And that's in a number of positions, by the way. We've seen him playing the false 9, as the number 9, as the 8, as the attacking 10. When Odegaard was out, we've seen him play right, we've seen him play left. He's never really been able to hold down a position. And that's a big problem for me. Now, Martinelli is another player we need to discuss. I think one of these two go, and I think the other one stays. However, I speak to a lot of Arsenal fans who think we might get rid of both. And I'm talking Partey, Jorginho, Martinelli, and Trossard all leaving. Now, if that's the case, we're going to need a couple of players, ain't we? Because if Zubamendi's coming in to replace Jorginho and Partey goes, that means we need another midfielder. If Martinelli and Trossard both leave, we need to go and buy 2 wingers. So we can't just get rid of all these players and bring them all in. It's going to take 2 or 3 windows. If you're going to get rid of, say, 12 players and bring 12 players in, that doesn't happen unless you're Nottingham Forest or Inter Milan under Conte. And it doesn't happen under Arsenal. So as much as I could say, get rid of these 12 and go and buy these 12 in this summer window, Arsenal ain't doing that. Not even under Andrea Berta. So I do feel like keeping Partey and Martinelli and getting rid of Trossard and Jorginho would be fine. With Zubamendi coming in and maybe a Lookman or Nico Williams or Mitoma or whoever you want to buy in your left winger coming in would make much sense. Make much more sense. That's what would make more sense to me, right? Martinelli, he's on 180k a week. He's going to want 250 or 200 plus. I like him. I don't love him like I used to, but I like him. I think he has got still ability, potential at 23 to get even better. Maybe he's got a future down the middle. We're playing him on the right, we're playing him on the left, we're playing him through the middle at times. I've not been massively impressed with him again this season. I haven't been impressed with any of our attack. But I asked the question to you guys. Is it Arteta or is it Martinelli? Now, people will say, well, it's Martinelli because it's individual performance. And I totally appreciate that. I think he needs to hold an L for his individual performances, just like Trossard does, Jesus does, Havertz does. But Saka's the only one that he's improved, guys. Saka's the only one that has managed to flourish in the whole of this attack. With players that have left, with players that are still here, the likes of Lacazette, the likes of Aubameyang, yeah, the likes of Raheem Sterling, Willian, Trossard, Martinelli, Eddie Nketiah, Reece Nelson, Fabi Vieira, Smith Rowe. We go through all of our attack from Pepe and Laka and Aubameyang, who were all told to leave when he got there. I don't think he's improved any of them. Now, you can say that Saka's improved. I don't know how much of that is just raw talent and quality or how much of it is Arteta. Maybe it's a bit of both. But he's the only one that I've seen take it to a new level. The others have either regressed or been sold or haven't been good enough under this manager. And Martinelli's one of those, I'm afraid. He hasn't got better since the age of 17, 18 when we saw him under Unai Emery. He hasn't. Played him up front, got 10 goals. Next couple of seasons, he was in and out with injury. Then he goes, boom, 15 goals, one of our best players. Since we've gone to this more rigid, compact, resolute football, he ain't flourished at all. And we were told that we're going to have to try and chop and change the left-hand side. We haven't settled down on that left-hand side for Martinelli. Gabriel's the only one who plays every game. Rice is in the 6, then the 8. You've got Marino in the 8, then the 6, then the 9, then the forward, then the right back, then the left back in the changing room. Calafiori's our left back, then it's back to Zinni, then it's Tierney, then it's Tommy, then it's Timber, and then it's now Lewis-Skelly. There's been no left-hand side again now. So that's 2 years. 2 years that we haven't had a left-hand side. Well, we knew what the left-hand side was 2 years ago. It was Gabriel and Zinchenko, Granit Xhaka and Martinelli. They were the 4. Now it's Gabriel and maybe Lewis-Skelly, unless it's Calafiori, unless it's Timber. And then you've got maybe Declan Rice, unless it's Marino. And then you've got Martinelli, but maybe it's Trossard sometimes. It's not good. There's no stability down that left-hand side. There's no sustainability either. And I feel like there's a lot of people that have forgotten about that. A lot of people don't want to talk about that. Now, I'm not making excuses for Martinelli there. I'm making a kind of point about how our left-hand side just still doesn't look settled. I think everybody knows what our best 11 is. I think everybody knows that Raya's our goalkeeper. There's no debate with Ramsdale now. That was the right move. Gabriel and Saliba is the best partnership in the league, in my opinion. I think right now, Timber is the better right back out of the 2. I like Ben White. And I think Lewis-Skelly's our best left back. Now, people will still say it's Kieran Tierney, but right now I think Lewis-Skelly deserves to play because Tierney's going. In midfield, I think it's Partey and Rice in a double pivot with Ødegaard in the 10. I don't really know that Ødegaard is a 10, but he's definitely better playing Rice deeper than up the top there. But it will be Partey, Rice and Ødegaard. And then across the front three, Martinelli starts ahead of Trossard for me on the left. And then Saka plays when he's fit with Havertz through the middle when he's fit. But we all know how to improve that. We're going to come to that later in the show, but we all know that a left back is debated. We all know the left 8 position's debatable still. We still know that the left wing and the striker is what people talk about. So that means if you bring in a left defender, a left 8, a left winger, and a central striker, you could probably all make cases for them to start in the first 11. So that's where we're at right now. That's where we're at. But we'll come on to more about that in a little while. So that's contract talks. Let's talk about Saka. Saka's back. And Andrea Berta's job is to try and get this guy signed on a long-term deal. I want to see it, people. I want to see it big time. I need to see it big time. Bukayo Saka. Arsenal are set to open formal talks with Saka over a contract extension. That's come from Sami Mokbel. The club will make securing Saka a longer contract one of their top priorities, with the process expected to accelerate in the not-too-distant future. This is the player that you give a piece of paper to and say, here's your contract, you write it and you sign it. And he puts whatever number he wants on there. 300, 400, whatever the hell it is a week, we pay him it. He's our most important player. And it has pretty much been proven this season. Without him, we look clueless. Without him, our attack is weak. Without him, we have nowhere near as many corners scored from his deliveries. Without him, we don't have a moment's player. Without him, we lack creativity. And I've got to say it, without him, he makes players better. Because Ødegaard's struggling. Martinelli and Trossard are struggling. No matter who you put down the middle, they're struggling. And if I'm honest with you, it has kind of ruined the balance in midfield for us because of Bukayo Saka. The work rate he's doing on that right-hand side is definitely missed when he's not there. Now, we saw Ødegaard go out with long-term injury for the first 3 months of the season, pretty much from September right the way through to around about October, November. And do you know what happened? Bukayo Saka stepped forward. With goals, with assists, with corners, with deliveries, with creativity. Now Saka's out. All of a sudden, Ødegaard, where are you? Martinelli, where are you? Where is the other likes of Rice and Ødegaard? Where are the likes of Trossard? We don't see them. We don't see them. Where's Raheem Sterling? Great opportunity for him. No one near good enough. Nowhere near good enough. So he's our most important player, people. And we need him big time. Big time. Let's come down to the return of him as well. We had a big debate about this last night. Let me know your thoughts in the chat. When do we play Saka? Do we play him at all? Do we not use him at all this season? Do we bring him in the last few games of the season with 20 minutes here or there? Do we let him rest off and just have pre-season and start again? I don't know what the answer is, people, but I can tell you what's going to happen. He's going to play. Would not surprise me if he gets 10, 15 minutes against Fulham after the international break. Certainly wouldn't surprise me if he gets or starts and is brought off against Everton. And it does not come as a shock or surprise when I say that he probably will be starting against Real Madrid. It's just facts. As much as you don't want to say it or don't want to hear it, Mikel Arteta believes that Bukayo Saka is the guy that is going to get him out of trouble. Now, there's definite pros and there's definite cons for this. Of course, Sami Mokbel here is suggesting, it's not Sami Mokbel, sorry, it's John Cross, is suggesting that Saka is on course to return in time for the Champions League home tie against Real Madrid on the 8th of April. There's a hope that he makes good progress over the next 10 days, which is now probably the next 7 days. And he could be on the bench against Fulham on April the 1st. Now, that is April Fool's Day, people. We do not want to be looking fools by bringing him on and getting injured on April Fool's Day. Now, look, I've been quite hypocritical on this. What do people call you when you, a flip-flopper. I love that. You are a flip-flop. It really thinks it hurts you. It really sticks the knife in that and twists it. We're all flip-flops, man. 1 minute we're happy, 1 minute we're sad. That's part of football. But I have been flip-flopping on this one. Last night, the guys were convincing me not to touch him, not to go near him. Curtis and I were chatting about why we might need to play him. And there's others that have suggested that if he's fit, he plays. Now, look, let me make it very black and white. If he's fit, he's going to play. If he ain't fit, he ain't going to. That's just simple. We all know that. Risk-wise, I genuinely don't know if there is a massive risk playing him or not. I'm not a doctor. I'm not an expert. I don't know enough about these third-grade hamstring injuries. I don't know nothing about what that does to your hamstring after it. I hear it gets stronger, but you need it to be fully healed. I also need to know that the rest of his body is okay. I also need to know that this rest that he's had and recuperation has been to rest the rest of his body up, because Saka was going to be on burnout, not just by his hamstrings, but it could have been his ankle, it could have been his groin, it could have been any other muscle injury that was going to be a part of that as well. He's laid off now and he's had his rest. Is he fit though? Because a fit Bukayo Saka starts, but is he? Now, there's some good opportunities to take a look at some questions here, and one of them, of course, is this one. Why Always Me says Saka will want to play against Real Madrid. Yes, he will. But sometimes you need to throw the white towel in, as they do on boxing, and say, nah, man, it ain't going to happen. And this is for your own good and your own benefit. Save you from yourself is what they call it, right? Because if he goes on, knocks on the door and says, Mikel, I'm fit, and the guys say I am, I want to play, Mikel should be going back and saying, what's the risk of this? What are you worried about? Are you worried about that hamstring? Are you worried about that other hamstring? Are you worried about that right hand groin? Are you worried about that left hand muscle? What are you worried about here? What is it that we have to do to make sure that this guy is okay, cool, you can play? Because he ain't going to be able to come and just start against Real Madrid. For me, if he hasn't played any minutes at Fulham or Everton, he can't play against Real Madrid. And I said this with Curtis. If everyone's fit, I'd play him. If he's being told, you're fit, I'd play him. But that means he's got to have played games at both Fulham and Everton. And if he ain't fit enough to do that, he ain't going to be able to play against Real Madrid, home or away. I hope he's back because we need him. I hope he comes back as good and as fresh as ever. But I don't know that he will, because I'm not an expert. I'm not a doctor on this. I really don't know. I really don't know. So look, I'm in a position right now where I kind of get a bit confused with this one. I keep telling myself, yes, Dan, no, you can't start him. Yes, we can. I want to see an Arsenal side with Bukayo Saka in it, just like everybody else does. But I only want to see a fit Bukayo Saka and one that's at his best. I'll never forgive the club if we rush him too quickly. I'll never forgive the club if we ruin his career. I just won't. We need to make sure, though, one thing's for certain, that Ethan is fit. He's not played the last couple, and do you know what? Fair play if he's been tired, fatigued, whatever. Let's make sure he's ready and raring to go in that game against Real Madrid. Because if he does not play Bukayo Saka, I want to see Ethan, I want to see Martinelli, and I want to see Trossard. I don't want to see Marino up top. I understand he scored goals. Don't mind bringing him on for the last 20 to be a bit more of a threat in the box. But I do not want that as our striker. Just lack of movement, lack of know-how. Fling it to me here, then I'll try and put it in. That's the sort of thing you do in the last 20, 25 minutes when you're desperate for a goal. I don't want that from minute 1 to minute 90. That's what I don't want. I hope I've explained that well enough, guys. I hope I have, because there's a lot of people that are confused about this one, about what to do, where to go, and how to do it. So that's where I'm at. A lot of people have also asked me what team I would select for that game, home and away. This is tough. And it's tough with two positions. I'm going to tell you where I'm at. David Raya in goal. Timbers at right back. Locking up Vinny. Or trying to, at least. Saliba takes care of Mbappe. Gabriel likewise, and there's a threat from corners and set pieces. Left back, I'm going to leave for now. Centre back, midfield, we know it's Partey, Rice and Odegaard. There's no point debating that. If they're fit, it'll be them three. Front three, let's imagine Saka isn't fit. We play Ethan on the right, Martinelli through the middle, Trossard on the left. If Saka's fit, you play Saka on the right, Martinelli left and Ethan through the middle. And just go for it. What I think he'll do is I think he'll play Marino I think he'll play Martinelli, and I think he'll play Trossard. And I think Ethan will be brought on. And then Saka will be brought on. That's what I think he'll probably go with. Left back, we've got two options. I play Lewis-Skelly because he's been the best one so far. I wouldn't play Calafiori. The other option you've got is Ben White at right back and Timber at left back. The problem I've got with that is Ben White does not look fit enough yet. I need to see more. If he starts to play Ben White and Timber again and it works and it looks brilliant against Everton and Fulham, then cool, we might have a discussion about that. But right now, Ben White's just coming back from a long few months off where it doesn't look too pretty. And he hasn't been great. He's been a bit rusty and I expect him to be. He's been out for a hell of a long time. So that could be a massive, massive issue. But I think it's solid when we play that. But Lewis-Skelly's been balling out, bro. Absolutely balling out. Gets his England call up. Hope he plays well. Hope he doesn't get injured, touch wood. And I pray that he has a really good internationals. I really do. Right. Let's talk about the potential of those two legs. Oh, I'm not going to give predictions yet because I need to look at injuries by then. I need to look at players' fitness by then. I need to look at how we're playing against Everton and Fulham by then. But I'll tell you what I think we need. We need to be winning the first tie. And even if we're winning 1-0, I still don't put us as favourites going to the Bernabeu. If it's a draw, I think Real Madrid do us. If we're losing, I think it's going to end up quite comfortable. Now, a lot of people have said this isn't going to be tight. This is going to be an absolute hammer in one way or the other. Well, we're not going to hammer Real Madrid. We're just not. Right? We're just not. I don't understand. Big up to Normski. I don't understand how we can be in a position where people believe we're going to walk past Real Madrid by 3 or 4 goals over 2 legs. I've heard this. I think we're going to really comfortably beat them. Why? Why? Don't get that. They could comfortably beat us because they've got quality. We can't comfortably beat them because our quality in the front line is nowhere near theirs. We need 5 or 6 chances before we put one away. They don't. They got clinical players like Vinny Jr. They got clinical players like Mbappe. They've got a brilliant player in Rodrigo that doesn't get the mention that he deserves. A lot of people still asking, where's Lee Gunner? Please, answers on a postcard. I'm going to put him on a missing milk carton, I think. I don't know where he is, unfortunately. Hope he's all right. I have been ringing him. I've been trying, but unfortunately I haven't got hold of him. So I guess he's busy, stuck in traffic, doing something with family. Or he's sleeping, probably, knowing him. So yeah, let's see what happens. Anyway, I have sent him the link. He does know that I'm on live, but I'll be going for another 15, 20 minutes anyway. So hopefully he'll jump on. If he doesn't, he doesn't, man. It's the way it is. Top Goon has got to him. That's what it is. That is what it is. Look, I'm going to come to some questions in a minute. I want to talk a little bit about these 2 legs. The first game against Real Madrid, we have to keep it tight. I'll be happy in 0-0 at half time. But we need to be winning. We need to be. Oh, bless me. We need to be. And I don't mean go and win 3-0, 4-0. Of course, that'd be amazing. That's not going to happen. We need to be winning. If we go to a 0-0 or a 1-1 going to the Bernabeu, I'll worry. If we go to a 1-0 or a 2-0, which would be unbelievable, I'd have more confidence. But still, even at 2-0, wouldn't go, oh, we're through. Because it's Real Madrid. They find a way. If I'm brutally honest, looking at it, I think we'll probably lose 3-1 on aggregate. If I'm brutally honest. Right? But we have got a chance. People saying we've got no chance is wrong. It's the Champions League. I've seen a lot worse than this. Yeah? I've seen Liverpool win it in 2005. I see Porto win it in 2004. I see Chelsea win it in 2021 and 2012. There's been worse teams than this Arsenal team that's won it. Trust me. Trust me. Monaco and Porto, I was thinking, wow, really? That's the final in 2004 when Arsenal were the Invincibles that year and Chelsea had Roman money? I was like, wow, this is mad. Anyone can win this. I'm not taking it away from any of them because you have to win it. You have to get across the line, right? But I never had Chelsea winning in 2012 under Di Matteo against Bayern Munich. I never had them beating Pep in 2021. Stranger things have happened. Just remember that. So listen, we go into the Bernabeu, draw in. Everyone will give us a chance. but I don't think we'll get across the line. We go into the Bernabeu winning, we've got more of a chance, but I don't think anybody will. The only way that we have a little bit of confidence is if we're winning by 2 goals going into that game. And that's going to be incredibly difficult. Incredibly difficult. Get past this game, we can then have a conversation about what we think we're going to do. Because PSG are wasteful in front of goal, as much as I rate them. I think their midfield is outstanding. But I fancy Villa to give them a good game. Whether I think they'll get through or not is a different story. But Villa Park, under the lights, in the Champions League, and with Unai Emery in charge, ain't easy for PSG. If PSG are as wasteful as they were against Liverpool, they'll struggle. I love their midfield. I think Vitinha is going to be a world-class midfielder. I think him and Pedri are the two I look at in Europe and think, wow. Just wow. João Neves is a brilliant footballer. Fabian Ruiz is very underrated. But I fancy Villa to go through. Because I feel like against PSG, if they can take a draw to the Villa Park, I think they'll be okay. And I think that's the way round it is, but correct me if I'm wrong. But either way, I fancy them to win at Villa Park and draw at PSG. So I think they'll go through. Then, of course, after that, we play the winners. If we get Villa or PSG in a semi-final, I'd actually have confidence that across 2 legs, with a fit Bukayo Saka, that we could go through. And then it's the final, which will be either against Inter Milan, Bayern Munich or Barcelona, because Dortmund, I don't give them a chance, really. I think it will be Barcelona. And if I'm brutally honest, I think it will be Real Madrid, Barcelona, El Clasico, Champions League final. And if it is us out, fair play, I'll watch it and I'll enjoy it because it would be phenomenal. It would be phenomenal. So that's the Champions League. International break is here. And what that means while the international break is here is it means we get linked with players. And of course, the players that we always get linked with, or the player, it seems that we always get linked with, is of course Isak. This was a few days ago, Fabrizio Romano saying that there's big, massive proposals that will come to the table for Isak and Arsenal will be there. Liverpool also. For Arsenal, he's their absolute top target. Sesko's the other name on the list, but for Liverpool, he's one of the names that they're considering. Now, look, I would absolutely love Alexander Isak. There's nothing more than I'd love. He'd be my number one choice. If I could pick one player to bring in the summer, it would be Alexander Isak, no doubt, hands down. But I'll tell you why I don't think we're getting him. Let's forget the money for a minute. Alexander Isak's just won a trophy. Alexander Isak is going to be promised a big summer. Alexander Isak is going to be sold a dream already at Newcastle that states that they're going to be going for titles and Champions Leagues and God knows what. If they qualify for the Champions League, which I think they will this season through the league, they've just got qualified with a trophy and Conference League football, which, to be fair, most Newcastle fans would have given a right good crack because they probably would have had more chance of winning a trophy that way than getting Europa or Champions League because I think they could win the Conference League. But they're going to get higher than that anyway. I think Newcastle are going to finish 5th, which will give them Champions League football. I think Liverpool win the league. I think Arsenal come 2nd. I think Forest actually come 3rd. Manchester City come 4th for me, and Newcastle come 5th. I don't think Chelsea have got the fixtures or the squad to go and compete with the Champions League, and I think Villa might just be a little bit too much for them. I expect as much as Brighton, Bournemouth and Fulham have been brilliant, I don't think they're getting Champions League football. So I think it will be Newcastle that come 5th, and they might even come 4th. For me, that keeps Bruno Guimaraes and Isak for another season at Newcastle at the bare minimum. I think £100 million will come in. I think £150 million might even come in. But I don't think Newcastle will accept it this season. Maybe in the future, if they don't look forward towards trophies, Champions Leagues, title pushes, then he might look at that at 27 and go, yeah, go on, it's my time. I'm going to go. Now, there's a lot of talk about Arsenal being his dream club and his Henry's his idol. And if you looked at the way he looked at him the other day, you could see that's certainly the case. People are keeping the number 14 shirt for him. All this stuff that you hear. I don't think it's happening this summer, people. I think we need to accept it. I think we need to move on from it. I would love to see us go for him. I'd love an ambitious move. I'd love an ambitious bid to be dropped in towards Newcastle, but I just don't see it, people. I just don't see it. I think there's a great opportunity for Arsenal to go all out for him this summer, but I do think we'll be turned down. And if I'm honest with you, there's 3 or 4 of them players that I would have. In fact, there's probably 5 or 6. Because I'm a huge fan of Sven Botman. I'm a huge fan of Livramento. I'm a big fan of Tonali. I think Joe Linton is very underrated. I think Bruno Guimaraes is just outstanding. Isak is my number one target, and Anthony Gordon would walk into Arsenal too. That's 7 players. And do you know what? Other than Sven Botman, there's a case to be made that they probably walk in the rest of them to majority of the first 11 at Arsenal. If you've been building those combined 11s, which I can't stand, by the way, you'd be surprised how many Newcastle players get in. You would. Because their midfield is very, very balanced, much more than ours. Yeah. I wouldn't take their goalkeeper, but I think Livramento has got a shout at full-back. The rest of it is Arsenal. In midfield, you'd probably put Bruno Guimaraes and Tonali up there with Rice. Odegaard and Joe Linton. I'd just picking Odegaard, but Joe Linton's incredibly underrated. And then you've got Gordon who walks in and Isak that walks in. Imagine Saka, Lewis Hall, great shout in the chat. He's been phenomenal this year. In fact, him and Lewis-Skelly, I think, would both be called up if they were both fully fit. Lewis Hall's got an injury. I think they're the 2 best left backs that England have got right now. Ahead of the likes of Tariq Mitchell, ahead of the likes of, obviously, Luke Shaw, Ben Chilwell, all that crap that we used to pick. These 2 are much better. So, Newcastle got some good players. And Newcastle, to be fair to them, if they went and got a goalkeeper, they went and got a partner for Sven Botman at the back, they went and got himself another creative midfielder, and they went and bought himself a backup striker and a right winger. So we're talking 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 players. I think they could go for a title push. I don't think they'll win it, but I think they could go for a title push. 100%. Nick Pope is their backup goalkeeper. They go and get a proper goalkeeper. You've got Kieran Trippier and Livramento, Lewis Hall as their fullbacks. They got another centre-back like Mark Guehi, who they wanted, alongside Sven Botman, Fabian Schär and co to back up. Then you've got Tonali, Bruno and Joe Linton with Joe Willock and maybe another midfielder, like I say, brought into the mix there. Gordon and Barnes, maybe Brian and Mbeumo or Kudus at right wing with Jacob Murphy as backup. And then Isak, Wilson and one more backup striker, maybe like a Jonathan David for the free from Lille. Newcastle could go for it. Newcastle could go for it. Now, I don't think they win the league, but I think they could get to March or April and be in with a shout of being 7 or 8 points behind the title. That would be incredible for them. So Isak and Bruno are looking at that, and they've been sold that, no doubt. The Saudi owner has come out and said, no one's signing Isak. He ain't going anywhere. So he's staying. So forget Isak, people. Forget Isak. It ain't happening, people. It ain't happening, right? It just ain't. Let's quickly talk on Saliba. We have mentioned the contracts very quickly, but there's some news on him from Romano, as suggested. I read this out with Curtis, to be fair, and I'll read it out again quickly. He says he doesn't expect big movements this summer for Saliba. They're monitoring the player and they see him as the Bellingham of defenders. Arsenal, we have 2 years left. There's no urgency, but it's not a dangerous situation. Berta will work on a new contract for Saliba to explain the project, long-term view, numbers of contracts. They want him to be a crucial part of the project. Now, what I hate about that is that he's still talking about a bloody project here. We are still talking about a project. The project is done. The process is over. Yeah, it's about delivering now. So I think they need to look around them, both for Saliba, Saka and Gabriel, and go, right, I'm staying because of this. And do you know what needs to happen? Andrea Berta needs to be getting you to sign a contract and go, right, you three, you're signing. Because look what's happening here. I'm bringing in Isak. I'm bringing in a Gyökeres. I'm bringing in Acuna. I'm bringing in Lookman. I'm bringing in Zubimendi. I'm bringing in Alex Baena. These guys have got to be coming in, man. Yeah? Oh, you're playing Football Manager. Not really. Because Arsenal apparently got £300 million to spend. So go spend it. That's what I think. Okay, let's do some of these questions. Musings of a Football Fan says, if you sack Arteta in the summer, who would you like to get in? If so many of your players will leave, who's the man for the rebuild phase 8? I don't want another phase. I don't want another rebuild. That's for sure. Look, who would I bring in? Alongside Andrea Berta, it would be Diego Simeone. Now that we're getting him, it would be Diego Simeone. The dream would be Carlo, but I don't see Carlo Ancelotti coming. Simone Inzaghi would probably be one of my top shouts as well. It's one of those 3 for me. If it was a younger coach and you wanted to go down that road, Xabi Alonso's the only one that I'd take. I don't want De Zerbi. I don't want Dino Tobler, is it? Tobler, is it? The guy from Frankfurt. None of those guys. I don't want Iriola. I don't want Hertzler. I don't want any of those guys. Thomas Frank, Marco Silva. No, thank you. None of those people. Because they have only done what Arteta's done, right? They've only done what Arteta's done. Xabi Alonso is a similar age and a similar ilk to Mikel Arteta, but he's won trophies. with a Bayer Leverkusen side, by the way, that come up against Bayern Munich that hadn't lost the league title in 11 years running, and that also had a hell of a lot of money Harry Kane spent on them, and had, which was probably, I don't know how much he spent, Xabi Alonso, but it certainly weren't more than like 80 or 90 million. So that's where I'm at. Other than that, it'd be a CV that says Diego Simeone, Simone Inzaghi, Carlo Ancelotti. They're the only three that I would have gone with, man. So I hope that answers it for you, bruv. Prime, big up to you, man. It says Moise Keane links. Any good? I don't think so. I think Moise Keane has proven when he went to Everton and PSG and stuff that it wasn't really going to happen. I think it was Juventus. It ain't really going to happen for me, bro. So there are some links, but I can't see that being a good signing. Angel Gomez on a free, a proper 6. I think this would be a good signing for somebody like Manchester United. I actually do. I'm not sure he's Arsenal level, but from what Manchester United need right now, and to get them back into fighting for Europe and for Champions League, I think he'd be a very solid player for them. I also think it would be a good signing for someone at a lower kind of club, even a Spurs or someone like that. That's where I'm at. But I don't know that he's fit for Arsenal. This super chat come in and we've done that one. Normski, big up to you, bro. I hope you're well. Make sure you're following Normski TV. In terms of Big Berta coming, do you think you'll get decent money for the fringe or loan players? So one of the things I'm looking forward to is seeing how we start to change now with Berta. And I don't just mean by who we bring in. I mean by how we sell players, because we've been absolutely horrendous at selling players. Emi Martinez for 17 million. Matteo Guendouzi for 10 million. Bellerin for pence. Leno, 3 million to Fulham, and he's still their best goalkeeper they've got. Other than Iwobi, who went for 40 million, and Oxlade-Chamberlain for 35, Balogun was a shout at 30. Some of the players we've sold have been absolutely shambolic. And then you look at the players that we've bought in. Some of the big names of the last few have been absolutely awful. Fabi Vieira, Kai Havertz. These players have been a hell of a lot of money, by the way. Even Lokonga was about 18 million. Poor. Really bad. So I'm not a huge lover of that. Eddie Nketiah and Smith Rowe, people would say were really good sells. I'd say they were fair, if I'm honest. For what the market is, I'd say we've done all right, particularly for Eddie Nketiah. But other than that, we've struggled. So I want to see that. I also want to see this clear out, but I want to see quality coming in, not 8 or 9 players that could be good in 5 years' time. I want to see 2 absolute gems that we go, whoa, where's Berta got them from? And I want to see 3 top names coming in. Zubimendi, Isak, Gyökeres, those type of quality names. Florian Wirtz. These are the sort of names that we should be going for. I'm happy with a Nico Williams or a Mateus Cunha. I'm happy with a player that comes in that you think, oh, that could be shrewd business. But I want to see like Morgan Rogers in our midfield. Florian Wirtz as our attacking midfielder. Isak as the striker. Oh, this ain't FIFA. We ain't playing Football Manager, mate. Do the business right. £300 million is apparently available. Plus on top of what we got to sell. Sell the crud, get what, 100 million? Probably going to get for about 8 players or so. Ain't going to get much more than that. That's 400 million to go spend. Go spend it. Yeah? Go spend it. Go get that backup goalkeeper. Yeah? Go get that centre-half from Forest, Milenkovic. Yeah, or Murillo. Go and get the Morgan Rogers from Villa. Go and get Zubimendi on a release clause of 50 million. Go and get Ademola Lookman from Atalanta. And go and get Isak. Done. Go get Florian Wirtz. 400 million. Done. That's what we got to do. But I've been saying this for so many years. And I can tell you what our summer will be. And I'm sorry to make it go really excited to right the way down here. Because I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to get John Garcia, will be our backup goalkeeper. We're going to go and buy a centre-back of some kind. That's going to be a replacement for Kivior. We're going to get Zubimendi. We're going to get Nico Williams. And we're going to get Sesko. They're the 5 that are going to come in. We're going to lose in that time. Neto will go back to Bournemouth. Sterling will go back to Chelsea. We're going to lose Tavares. We're going to sell Zinchenko. We're going to sell Tierney. We're going to sell Kivior. We're going to sell Jorginho and Partey that will go on their contracts. Fabi Vieira will go. Reece Nelson will go. Marquinhos will go. And then we'll probably get rid of Trossard. Jesus and Tomiyasu will leave, but it will be at their end of contract next season because they're injured. Havertz will stay, but he will be a squad player because of his injury. And that will be it. So people that might like to think that's a real negative way to look at it, I hope I'm wrong. I hope Berta comes in and surprises. I hope Berta comes in, rips it up and says, we ain't doing that. I really hope so. I don't want to be in a situation where we're going through those names and going, that's exciting summer. I don't want to do that. But that could be where we're at. So to answer your question, Normski, I think Berta can come in and rip it up. Yes. My biggest anxiety and worries and concerns is that the powerful voice of Josh and Arteta will end up being more powerful than Andrea Berta, and that would be a disgrace for me. I hope the way they're looking at this, the Cronkies, is this might be Arteta's last season next year if he doesn't win silverware. Andrea Berta comes in, and then we bring in a Diego Simeone after that to work together on it. That's what I hope. Big up to the Chelsea man. I hope you're well. Everyone are forgetting Man City already started the rebuild and they'll add in the summer and Pep will go again. They will not sit back. They are my favourites to win the league next season. Manchester City will spend big this summer. They're going to get away with it this month, the 115. They'll get non-compliance fines only. That will be it. And that will be done. Then when you look at it, they're going to get a new goalkeeper in. Ederson's going to go Saudi. They're going to get a new defender in. John Stones, Kyle Walker, probably Ake or Kanje will go. They're going to go and get a proper Rodri replacement in midfield. And they're going to get replacements for Bernardo Silva. They're going to get a replacement for Kevin De Bruyne, which I think will be Florian Wirtz. They're going to go and get a winger. That's 6 players. And they will spend 300 million on those 6 players. They will do it. And they will get rid of the Jack Grealishes of this world, the Bernardos, the Gundoğans, maybe even the Kovacic's. I'm talking about Ake or Akanji, John Stones, Kyle Walker, Ederson. They will all go. It will be a rebuild. And Pep will get it right. Because he always bloody does. He always bloody does. That's the problem. Let's finish with a bit of a laugh, shall we? Let's have a little bit of a laugh. I've got a quiz book here. Let's see where it lands on what question, shall we? Because I like to do that. We all like a quiz, don't we? Let's see where we are at here. This is going to land on... No, we don't want to land on players. We don't want it to land on players. One sec. Thought this was going to be easier than it was. No, we don't want to get to the 70s. Let's go for... Where are we at here? What's happening with this quiz book? The answer's there. Okay. 70s transfers. Nah, not Highbury. Here we go. Quiz 21. Let's try that. Let's have a laugh, shall we? To end the stream. Quiz 21. Let's see how good we are, people. Right. Are we ready? Drum roll, as they say in the chat. Okay. Cool. Let's do 5 questions, shall we? Let's see how good you are. Question 1. And I'll give the answer straight away. I'll give you a few minutes in the chat to get it, right? We'll end this way. Sol Campbell joined Arsenal for the 2nd time in 2010. Which club did he join from? Which club did he join from? I'll give you 15 seconds to put your answers in the chat. Let's see who gets it first in the chat. Sol Campbell joined Arsenal in 2010 for the 2nd time. But what club did he join from? Come on, people. 744 of you in the chat. Who's going to get it first? Who's going to get it first? 4, 3, 2, 1. The winner is LG. Notts County is the correct answer. Big up to you. Remember when Sven-Goran Eriksson went there? Bless him. It was because I think they took over, got a load of money, didn't they? And Sol Campbell went there, which was absolutely crazy, to be fair. Okay, question number 2. Big up to LG, by the way. Big up to you. Okay, question number 2 is, August 2011, we signed Per Mertesacker. Which club did we sign him from? Which club did we sign him from? Per Mertesacker. Come on, people. You should know this one. Who's going to get there first? Who's getting there first? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The winner is Steve. Well done. Werder Bremen is correct. Werder Bremen is correct. Big up to you. That's a great shout. Okay. Let's go with this next one. Where are we? Okay, let's just do these ones. I don't know if this is true actually. I might have to look at this one. But we'll go with it anyway. If you know this one, you've done well because I would not get this one. Okay. Arsenal signed Hector Bellerin in 2012 from which league club? Which league club? English club, this is, by the way. Wow. Is this true? I need to check that this is real, by the way. This does not sound real for me. I would have gone with Barcelona, but it was not Barcelona. It's not Watford because he was on loan there. No one's got it yet. I'm going to have to check this is true, by the way. I'm going to have to check this is true. That does not sound right for me. I'll give you a clue. It begins with a B. No one's got it yet. I thought it was Barcelona. Need to check this. Hang on. Let me check this. There's no way this is true. Surely. Korea. This is absolute rubbish, surely. What? They've got this wrong, man. There's no way that this guy started here. Nice. I knew it was Barcelona. What is this book on about? This book reckons we signed him from Barnsley. What a load of rubbish that is. Arsenal signed Bellerin in 2012 from which league club? Barnsley. No, we did not. We signed him from Barcelona. What are we talking about here? Barnsley. That's a load of rubbish, man. I'm definitely not believing that. That's crap. There's no way we signed him from Barnsley. That is ridiculous, man. There's no way we signed him from Barnsley. That's crazy. They've got that wrong. Anyway, if you put Barcelona, you got it right because we all knew it was Barca. Okay, 2nd of September 2013, Arsenal purchased Mesut Ozil from Real Madrid. What was the fee? What was the fee? What was the fee for Mesut Ozil? How much did we pay for Real Madrid? I'll give you to the nearest whole number. Either side of it, I'll give you. So the first person to get it was Tone V. It's 42.5. So if you put 42 or 43, I'll give it to you. Well done, people. Well done. Next question is Thomas Vermaelen left Arsenal in 2014 to join which Spanish team? Which Spanish team did Thomas Vermaelen leave Arsenal for? There we go. Easy one. You've all got that. Barcelona. Let's see who got there first, actually. I'll be fair. Let's see who got there first. Steve, big up to you, bro. Again, that's 2 you've won now. Well played. Need to do a proper quiz, don't we, for you all? There's going to be one more. Where are we going? Okay, Lucas Podolski left in 2015. Which Turkish club did he leave for? Which Turkish club did he leave for? It is Galatasaray. Well played. Who got that first? I've got to come out. Oh, they're all coming in quick. Marek, well done. Galatasaray. Well played, people. Well played. Look at that, man. You know your stuff. Look, I hope you enjoyed that, people. It's a bit of a laugh at the end. I can't believe that book thinks that we signed Bellerin from Barnsley. That's absolutely hilarious. That is absolutely hilarious. I think they do that on purpose, you know. I think these authors, they chuck it in there just to kind of throw you. Because I had that before the other week when I did it with the boys. And I did a proper general football quiz. And they had an absolute stinker in there. So, yeah. Fair play. Look, big up to every single one of you. Make sure you do me a favor. Hit. Scott saying I got robbed. That was me. Apologies. It's so hard to keep up with the chat. It really is. It really is so hard to keep up with the chat. Let's see where you put it. Where did you put Galatasaray? Can't see it. Are you sure? Are you positive, bruv? Because I can't see your name. I can only see Marek putting in Galatasaray. Nah, yeah, you were too slow. I've got it, Scott. You're below Marek. It goes in order. Marek, then Samir, which I guess means Galatasaray. And then it's yourself, Scott. So well done to Marek because you're ahead. Well done. Well done, bro. But very, very close. Very, very close. I will do a quiz show. I will do a quiz show. Just me. I'll do it with just you in a chat. I'll do one. Yeah, because I think people like that. You can just do one like that really quickly. Just me in the chat. Might as well do it for international break, right? So let's do it. And I'll get a better quiz book. I'll make one myself because I don't trust those quiz books. Or what I'll do is I'll get the best questions from there and I'll check that they're all right. There we go. Listen, people, do me a favor and hit the like button. There's only 338 likes and there's been well over 700 to 800 of you in here. So do me a favor, hit the like and subscribe button. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. You guys have been an absolute pleasure. Brilliant questions, great super chats, great interactions. And we've got the last one. Can you ask Lee thoughts on Barrios we've been linked with? I will do. Very, very highly rated player, actually, at Atletico Madrid. I think he's going to be a real talent from what people have told me. So if we are linked with him and it's Andrea Berta talking about it, then we've got the right guy now. Let's get this sporting director in and let's get it a show on the road. Let's see who else is live, shall we? Let's see if we can redirect you some people. Let's see where you want to go. Shout in the chat if you know of anyone that's live that you want to go chat to. I always try and help my mates out if I can, first of all. There's only Terry that's live, so I'll send you over to Terry for Hassam and Mo's thoughts. So let's do that. Make sure you hit like and subscribe, people, because there's way many of you that have not hit the like button, which, upsets me. If you want me to see more quizzes, if you want to bring on Lee next time, because obviously he's stinker and hooked this time, then please let me know. Go show some love to the Football Terrace and go and spam. Dan Potts sent me. Dan Potts sent me. Football's 12th man raid. 12th man raid, Dan Potts raid, whatever you want to do. Make sure you go show some love over there. I'll see you next time. Take it easy. We're out of here. And as always, up the Arsenal. Latest, people.